Okay, so this next part, part two, is going to be a discussion on the pedagogical influences that have helped shape PE to what it is today. And this comes from professionals and teachers wanting to make it a more necessary part of the school program. Think about the classroom teacher and the years of teaching reading and math, how it has evolved from phonics approach to reading to whole word to chunking, and the different styles of math and how to teach math. So it's the same for physical education, how the pendulum has swung. So these pedagogical influences have helped shape it. Some are still part of a PE program, some are not. The first one I'm going to talk about is the movement education. Basically, it originated in England in the late 60s, and what it did was allow for diversity of movement, which emphasized creativity and free exploration and cognition, which fits the late 60s, the hippie era. And those were the focal points of teaching. The instruction focused more on the children. There was instructional methods that shifted from formal and command style to problem solving and exploratory approach, and the stress no wrong or right way, but to have fun, which allowed for diversity of movement through creative instructional methods. And this allowed students of all abilities to find success. There was just less emphasis on the biggest, the best, the strongest, and fastest skilled kid. It allowed for all children to find success. The second one is perceptual motor programs, which was more corrective in nature. Basically, they would seek to find shortcomings in physical and academic performance. And it flourished because the concern for the slow academic learners gave PE teachers hope to help those slower delayed learners. And it was viewed as an integral part of a children's academic success. So during this era of perceptual motor skills, it kind of made it a safe for the PE teachers to allow academic success as for those delayed learners. Basically, they're saying that more a child is moving and learns, they're going to have more academic success, which today is true. They do have research on that. Coordination, balance, time, space relationships were remediated or attempted to. But unfortunately, there was near no sound evidence of improved academic achievement. At least that was proven. There are still perceptual motor programs that exist. However, the contribution to this program all it did was to integrate skills, which is important, using both sides of the body, crossing the midline, balancing skills, etc. We'll talk about that in our lecture on disabilities in Chapter 7. And here's just a little step-by-step skill sequencing, which is part of the perceptual motor program. Conceptual learning, this was the application of abstract ideas drawn from experience, so a little less physical. It played an important part in PE in that the main point was to establish an understanding of the process of movement, being able to distinguish near and far, strong, weak. So using those adjectives. Students spent time in receiving lectures and then used that information to try a procedure. Students were expected to understand the why, the what, and the how of exercise. However, increasing a person's knowledge does not necessarily change a behavior or improve a physical skill. So that was more socialization involved in the conceptual learning. Wanting to understand the what we learn today, how and why are we learning it, and how will I know how to do it? And a lot of children benefit from that. Then we have the value and attitude development learning. This is kind of more the social, discussing that affective domain rather. So during the 1990s, the American public expressed concern about the lack of moral values. I don't know why in the 1990s, but U.S. leaders decided to put pressure on schools to teach morals and values. Actually, it was falling upon the health teacher and the PE teacher to teach morals and values. Today, I mean, most good teachers are going to express this concern and teach those morals and values in the classroom too. But back then it fell more onto the PE teacher in particular. Conflict resolution was part of that, and if you've never had conflict resolution training for your future children, students, this is very, very important. We'll talk now about federal mandates. I'll come back to you on that in part 3.